As an instructor, you're going to come across more white belts than higher ranks when it comes to Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. This is just a fact when you take into account the turnover in Jiu Jitsu and your own journey as a professor running your own program. You're just probably going to encounter more beginners than veterans along the way. So one time one of my brown belts asked me, how should I roll with the white belts? Prior to him asking, I'd never given it any real thought. At the time, I was a new black belt running my program. And throughout my journey as a blue, purple, brown, and even a new black belt at that time, I kind of had just rolled how I rolled. I didn't consider it to be deep at all. So I asked one of my good friends and previous professors, how do you roll with white belts? His answer was simple. I smash them. That was contrary to what I had been taught by my primary professor, who had promoted me all the way through purple, brown, and black belt, Professor Henry Matamoros. His philosophy was always to take care of the new students, ease them into the training, so they come back. No one's going to want to come back and train with you if you're always destroying them. But I see the other side of that as well. I feel that sometimes it's necessary to break down certain people, to give them a degree of humility, to show them how vulnerable they are. And that is the appeal. That is what makes them come back. The desire to be good at something that they truly are not good at. To grow stronger, to learn to protect themselves, and to learn to build an offense in a martial art that has shown the cracks in whatever strengths they believe they had going in. I'm always a huge proponent of the humility of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. The need to force that humility on people at times. But is it always necessary? Then there's a third professor I had for a short time who popped in my mind when thinking about this question. And the only way I can describe his way of teaching was Cobra Kai. This was a no mercy kind of, weed out the weak and only the strong will be allowed on our mats kind of mentality. I remember people being brought in and that professor pulling me off to the side and saying, this guy says he's trained before, I want you to smash him. Or this guy's a blue belt from so-and-so and he's trying class here, show him what's up. And that's some old school martial arts jiu-jitsu type, iron sharpens iron, no room for the weak type training. So then the last input I had was an episode of jiu-jitsu that I was watching, and he was talking about the subject, and he was explaining the need to roll hard with white belts, ultimately because there's times that he said he views rolling with a white belt like a real fight. They don't know anything, they're so anxious, and there's all this energy and aggression, and they kind of attack you without measured skills, and so they're kind of just going at you, and so you have to take it like a real fight. And I have felt those rolls more than I haven't, so I agree with what he is saying as well. So how did I go about approaching rolling with potentially new students or just white belts in general that have been at it for a little bit but not a long period? I think the best way that I can explain it is that I take what you give me. There are these aggressive grapplers or aggressive people, and again, it could be due to a lack of information, a lack of knowledge, anxiety, tension, nerves, whatever. And so when it comes to wrestling is ultimately what it is when they first start. I don't know if you really can categorize it as grappling. They haven't gained any grappling skills yet. They're kind of just wrestling you. There's aggression. And it's due to fear or ego. Is usually the thing. Like, I'm pretty big, strong guy. I'm going to kind of put it on you, show you my speed, my athleticism, or I should be able to smash you, and so on and so forth. Whatever is going through their mind, I have to take into consideration that it's not always their desire to hurt me, which for a long time when I had people kind of go at me like that, I took it that way. So I'd match their aggression and pair it with my skills and just wreck them. Not hurt them, but wreck them. And like I said, more often than not, that's kind of what you're getting, especially from men. And it could be, I don't know, maybe they're trying to show you like what they've got. But as I got older, I started to understand that it might be fear. They are trying to protect themselves, but without knowing how, all you have is aggression. So I started to ease up a bit, but I'm still of the mindset that if you come at me aggressively, I'm going to match that aggression. I'm going to match that energy. As I've gotten older, I kind of take what they give me and just kind of move them around. But when there are moments for me to use aggression, I definitely use it more against people like that. I view it kind of like the way my friend and professor told me when he said he smashes white belts. I basically take it as breaking a wild horse, kind of like jiu-jitsu said. He takes it like a real fight. I just feel like it's breaking a wild horse. Like, I gotta just show him what I could do to him, and that aggression is useless. That, you know, every bit of strength that he's trying to put into all these movements are not helping him. They're harming him as far as his ability to really do anything to me. So that's one kind of beginner or white belt that you're dealing with, is the aggressive one. And now I keep saying the word aggression because I don't let that turn into anger. I'd be lying if I said I never got angry on the mat. Of course, especially when someone's being overly aggressive with me, slamming into me, trying to, you know, knock me around, scratching me. Like, when things get really ugly, or what I perceive to be ugly, I've definitely gotten angry before. Fortunately, with this mindset of understanding that they're, you know, it's just them not knowing what to do, I've been able to curb that much more, and I just use aggressive to pacify them, or truly just take it to them, humble them. Believe me, that is necessary, more than it's not. On the other side of having to put aggression or strength onto beginners or white belts is doing the opposite. Almost like a flow roll on your end, of course, because they're still probably putting a little bit of speed and strength, but just not as much as the truly aggressive beginner. So you match it. You kind of exchange positions, you move them around, you sweep them, you hold them down, you show them where they're vulnerable. When you go for submissions, you do it a lot slower. You're taking care of this person because they're taking care of you. I don't use strength. Now, of course, doing anything requires a little bit of strength, but I don't use a high degree of strength. I take care of them. I attempt to take care of everyone. But in these roles, again, there's just no aggression. Again, I just kind of take what they give me. But I think maybe this kind of student is really trying to learn, and maybe they don't feel like being tossed around, so they don't want to try to be overly aggressive, so they're trying things. So I will allow them to try things. I will do what we would call positional rolling. I will lay down or turtle up and let them take my back. I will lay down and give them side control. I'll give them mount. I'll let them try positions. And of course, they'll put some energy down, as they should. But I'll give them a little more opportunities. And I just roll a bit slower and take care of them, because they make it easier to take care of them. With the aggressive beginners, guys, of course I'm trying to take care of them, but when we're in a scramble, right? Or we end up wrestling up, or we're in a strong exchange of positions as far as we're both using quite a bit of strength, things will happen, and that's just the role that they've given me. Again, it has turned into a bit of a fight, not with intentions to harm, just with the pure physicality of it. So I take it as an opportunity to teach as I'm rolling. Teach them what that aggression will get them. Teach them how vulnerable they are. Teach them what can happen if they slow down and try positions with an advanced person. Just in all facets of the grappling exchange or rolling, there are opportunities for them to learn, and for me to learn as well. So my whole mindset on the whole thing of rolling with beginners or white belts is I take what you give me. If you're an aggressive grappler, I don't mind. If that's how you're going to roll with me, I'm going to roll with you to that extent. But even with aggressive grapplers, I use that against them with a seated guard and open guard, and just, you know, but there's times that, of course, I'm going to match that to kind of gain positions in a scramble and stuff like that, or if they wrestle up. But you're down for that. Those type of people, they want that kind of roll. There are times that I'm not sure when they first start, so I warn them. I say, hey, I can go hard. If you want to go hard, I can match that. And then, of course, the answer always is, yeah, I just don't know what to do. Personally, I don't do slow rolls. We roll hard in my school. That's just how I was brought up. That's just how we do it. But when I say we roll hard, it doesn't mean it's nonstop aggression and tension. It just means they're not easy rolls. But if you are kind of taking your time and you're moving a little slower, you're trying to figure out your hand placements and your passing or whatever, then I'll match that. I'm not going to turn it up. If you're going slow, I'm going to work with you in that aspect. So yeah, man, I think that as a higher belt rolling with lower belts, I think you should really just take what they give you. Match it in a mindset of teaching them something, but also protecting them. But of course, you have to protect yourself as well. And all that sounds a little weird to have to do all that combined, but that's what flow is. You find a way to flow with just about any type of energy that is placed in front of you. So white belts, when you're watching this, you need to understand what's happening on the other side with the higher belts or the black belt in your school. They are truly trying to work with what you are giving them. Now, I'm not naive. I know that there are academies where there's just aggressive higher ranks that want to show you what's up, and they want to take it to you. They want to do their moves on you and really just put it to you a little bit. And it is what it is. It's not, to me, that's not cool, but if you're unclear as to if that's what's happening or not, have a conversation with your professor. Have a conversation with your teammate. If you feel like someone's like just bullying you around or taking it to you for no good reason, ask. They may tell you, hey man, it's because you're aggressive with me. And you may not have realized that. Or they don't realize they're being that aggressive and they're like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was rolling with you like that. Again, you don't want any one side to take too much away from the roll because you want good rolls. But you have to understand sometimes the lines get crossed a little bit. And just a simple conversation can bring things back within a comfortable range. So white belts, when you're rolling, accept where you are in your journey right now and do what you can with what you have. Accept that you're going to get smashed. Be okay with it and seek growth in every moment. In every time you have to tap, and every time you get swept, try to grow from it. And higher ranks, same thing. Every time you pull a move, every time you roll with a lower rank, are you learning anything? Or are you just kind of showing off? Or are you just putting it to them a little bit, using them as like grappling dummies? Are you growing from that? Can you handicap yourself in any way? Can you work on a specific move? Can you let them work and play defense? Again, taking into account what they are giving you. Sometimes that can be hard when you have an overly aggressive beginner or lower rank kind of taking it to you. You do what you got to do. So just keep that in mind, everyone. Just be sure that you're still trying to learn and have fun. It has to be fun. I tell my students all the time, have fun right before we start our rolling. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful. I just wanted to talk about the subject because I was just looking at some footage and I remember this question coming up. So I thought maybe some other people had the same question. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.